And welcome back. We are now here for the first of the multi-part ones called Of Unknown Origin. So we'll get right into it here. Here is the gentleman from the Draconis Combine I mentioned earlier that your crew likes because he acknowledges that he's an idiot. They just call him Bob. Alright, so if you're not following along, or if it's going too fast for you, because as I've acknowledged, some people read at different speeds. Basically, what's going on is he is contracting you or offering you a contract to recover a jump ship captain that has been taken by a crime syndicate out here on the frontier. The jump ship captain, the Draconis Combine wants him badly because apparently, while out in the deep periphery plying his trade, he came across something that should not be out there, which is to say, an extremely old derelict starship. Not alien, human. As I've said before, there's really no aliens in this setting. At least not sentient spacefaring ones. But the government wants him. They want to know what he found and where it is. So this is the beginning of a multi-part campaign. There you go, as he says. I get the suspicion that every one of them is incompetent at one level or another. It's nice to meet one that just wears it out in his sleeve. And I will try to avoid getting too far ahead of the storyline on this one because it does unfold and you learn more and find out more as you go, so I don't want to get ahead of it. But right now, basically, what's going on is you don't know where this guy is. You just know that the organization that has taken him is active on this planet. So you're trying to draw them out, hit one of the possible locations, and see if that's it. Because at this point of the campaign, you really don't know what else you can do. Although options open up as you go, you get more information and access to more things that kind of narrow things down through this stage of it.
On my way.
Moving out.
This one, I believe, is a three-parter. This first chapter of it, and it's numerous chapters, and you really start getting into things with the lore and stuff. But I will unpack that as it goes, rather than get ahead of it. Try my best to only talk about and explain and clarify what's going on, rather than get into explaining things that haven't happened yet and confusing the issue. So there you go. There's a base you've got to get to. As you can see, it is defended. Not very heavily defended, as you find out here, but more does come in, and you start to kind of stir up the hornet's nest here. You also notice, if you look at the loadouts on the mechs, this is the first mission I'm running with. As I mentioned a couple of these videos ago, I went in and did a little tweaking of my loadouts. They definitely hit a little harder, and in some cases reach a little further than they did before, to try to make this a little less lethal for my people, let's put it that way. Because some of these fights I get into in these flashpoints are really rough, and I wanted to try and increase my chances here.
Yep.
You see, as usual with me, if you've been watching these, I do try to stick to close to the TRO loadouts, the technical readout loadouts on them. I don't get too crazy. I just vastly improve the quality of the weapons they're carrying. And in some cases, I do swap out regular lasers for either ER lasers or pulse lasers to increase their damage and their range and things like that, but not too drastically violating what's already there.
Scored a critical hit.
Ready for orders. Standing by.
As with a lot of these, this first mission, there's not a lot to say because things unpack as you go. So I'll have more to say as things go on. Especially clarifying some things that gets into lore-wise even this early on, but we're not there yet, so I won't get ahead of it.
Hostile on sensors.
Damage minimal. All weapons committed.
Man, this Centurion just does not want to die.
Enemy mech. Critical damage detected. Damage minimal.
Good to go.
Finally.
Enemy down.
Good to go. Taking the shot. Solid connection on that one.
Commander. Roger that.
Commando.
Firing a full salvo. Target's taken a critical hit.
I'm picking up a new sensor trace. Looks like enemy reinforcements.
Damage minimal.
Standing by. Acknowledged.
Okay, there's the fleet down, so that takes that flanker out of the equation. Yes, I still have the stupid cough.
Engaging physical attack. Enemy
Commando
mech
is
destroyed.
down.
Minimal damage on that hit.
Receiving you. Roger that.
That's a kick. Yeah, that certainly did
Critical
some
hit,
damage.
Commander.
Can you
Receiving
finish him
you.
off, Decker? Please say yes.
Affirmative. Hostile removed.
The cicadas move fast and hit hard, but they're not the most armored thing out there, and if you can get into their internals, most of their variants, they're very vulnerable to ammo explosions. Javelin.
Engaging target.
Receiving you. Confirmed.
Hunchback again. At least this one will sway back. I've got to worry about that autocannon.
Commander. Got it. On it.
Come on, we need to get through this first part of this one.
What's up, boss?
And start getting into the interesting meat of it here.
Target acquired. Yes, Commander. Confirmed.
At least now I can find out what that fourth mech is. I can't tell by
Nice.
looking.
Got past his armor.
I want to say grasshopper or something, but I can't really tell.
All weapons committed.
Oh, Vindicator, okay. A lot lighter than a grasshopper. The way it was standing in the trees there and the way my screen is, I couldn't tell.
Ready for orders. Affirmative. Firing on target. Reporting critical hit.
Good to go.
Yeah, you see on the Warhammer, I swapped out the PPCs for paired large and medium lasers in the arms. PPCs on it weren't terrible, but I wanted something a little different.
Move order received.
Damage minimal.
Okay, so now it's moving forward a little bit. You find out who your opposition is, at least. To my knowledge, that's not somebody that exists in the game canon outside of this game. I'd never heard of them before this, but then the crime and things like that in the game I'm not real familiar with, so. my extent of knowledge of the underworld in the BattleTech universe basically consists of crime is a thing that exists, and I'm aware of this fact. Never really anything I've concerned myself with in this setting. Trying to figure out what I want to do here, who I want to go after. Let's take that.
All weapons committed.
Or at least take away 90%
Enemy
of
mech.
his weaponry.
Critical damage detected.
Damage minimal. Yes, Commander. Move order received. Acknowledged.
Knock him over. Don't really do anything to him. It was worth a try.
Orders. Copy that.
That down. And as I've said, I'm not doing a lot of
One
talking
less
in this
target.
part of it because there's not a lot to talk about.
Orders?
But I didn't want to skip over it. The later part of this, as they start
Location
unraveling
confirmed.
what's going on, I'll have a lot more to say.
Roger.
Trying to avoid just talking for the sake of talking in the background of these.
Mech destroyed.
Okay, only 2 mechs left out of this lance, then we're done with this part of it.
Reporting internal damage.
Nice.
Enemy mech destroyed.
I'm here. Jumping. Locking in. All weapon systems.
Standing by.
Yes, Commander. Roger that.
Okay, he's legged and knocked over, so
Think I
he's
hit something
almost
good.
done, then we'll be moving on here.
Coordinates received.
There he goes. Cool paint job on that leopard. I like the Draconis colors on that. So the whole point of this one was to try and get into the computer system and figure out where they're holding this guy.
Mission successful.
Okay, so he's being held in a ruins of a city here on planet, but not specifically knowing where. So you've got to go up against the lance that is holding him and get into their battle computer, backtrack where they've been, and try to figure out the pattern of where he might be. as they keep moving him. And this is where it gets into a little bit. This guy you're up against apparently, basically, quote as they put it, quote unquote, runs the black market, which doesn't make any damn sense, but whatever. I just, in my head, he's in charge of it, or is the one basically who's ended up running it for this sector of space in the periphery. Uh, and as she mentions, yeah, as I said in an earlier one, some of this stuff you're coming up against, or up in your markets, is not only lost tech, some of it doesn't even exist anywhere on record. It's just showing up for sale as fully functional weapon systems. And they kind of put two and two together and say, well, if this guy supposedly has access to this derelict ship from a bygone age, maybe that's where he's getting access to all this lost tech and high-tech weaponry. So, starts moving the plot forward here. Hard to read there. I had a little glitch in the resolution of this. You're getting a signal from what you thought was a derelict piece of space junk in orbit. She just alerted you to the fact that something weird is going on in orbit, and keep an eye out.
Enemy detected.
On the move.
Also, with the opposition you run into in this one, I don't know why they try to play up that this is a dangerous mission, because you run up against some really weak, pathetic mechs. There you go, incoming drop pods from whatever it is that you have gotten contact with up in orbit. And as she points out, according to the readings, it's a completely unmanned piece of space junk that's more than 300 years old, which would make it a relic of the Star League, so the plot starts to thicken.
Light damage, Commander.
Yeah, you just got like one beam from a commando. That's not really going to do a lot to you. So a commando and a locust to start off here. This is supposed to be the dangerous opposition you're up against. And there's one down. God, I love that Marauder.
Enemy mech destroyed.
Phoenix Hawk, that's a little bit more dangerous, but still not all that much.
Ready for orders.
Phoenix Hawk is one of the really legendary in-game mechs that I've never understood why people love it so much. And there's what I was talking about. We just in an earlier mission got up or saw the combat trial of the very first Hatchet Man prototype. Basically, now we're up against somebody like a month later that has a non-canon prototype version of it in a pirate group out on the periphery. What?
Coordinates received.
Gotta love random assignment mech tables. That really should not be available for opposition to use for the most part in this game, but it is. So there you go.
Ready for orders.
Not that hard to deal with. Much as I love the Hatchet Man, most settings it is not exactly
Inflicted some
the
heavy damage.
optimum weapon system for what you're up against. And the AI really doesn't know how to use it. Star League drones, which should sound familiar after the Nautilus Castle Bryan thing during the main campaign. And again, they sound so terrified of this, and they're nothing. I don't know if the game forgets what the heck you're possibly running, having already completed the entirety of the main campaign to get to this point, or what, but it loves to play up the opposition you're up against in some of these flashpoints that turns out to
Yes,
be
Commander.
like nothing.
Roger. Locked on for physical attack. Scored a critical hit. Reporting.
I gotta say also, from what I
Heavy damage.
mostly see in this game, the AI has no idea how to use that Phoenix Hawk either. It's a good mech, very mobile, but the AI just kind of walks it up point blank range and tries to face shoot you, which is not what that thing is designed
All
for.
weapons committed.
And there you go, before it even fires a shot, there's the Hatchet Man taken out.
Enemy mech destroyed.
Yes, Commander. Got it. All weapons are go.
Phoenix Hawk has got one
Solid
torso
connection
and
on
arm
that one.
gone.
Standing by. Affirmative.
And there's the Phoenix Hawk taken out.
Enemy down. Armor breach. Internal damage. Good to go. Moving out.
Oh my. I think the only thing left of that mech is the head.
Full throttle.
Orders.
We're just trying to move up and take out those drones and get this done with.
What's up, boss?
Full throttle.
Standing by. Here we go.
I also don't know why the game only decides to come at you with 2 medium drones here.
Good to go. On my way. Engaging with target.
One down.
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
Commander?
Bless me. Sorry about that.
Firing on target.
Hey, let's just do this the most efficient way and run up and stomp on them.
Engaging physical attack. Enemy
There are fights in this multi-chapter campaign that are pretty tough, but I think any of the ones they're up against this Bauman group that's supposed to be such a merciless group of mercenaries is like, when you actually get into the matches, like, this is it. These are merciless, cutthroat, brutal criminals.
Mission successful.
Alright, now we're getting into the third part of it, about 15 minutes left here. Tried to do a better job of cutting out these blanks and keeping it shorter, but some of them kind of fall through the cracks when I'm doing the editing. This is an SLDF AI from the 28th century. So 300 years before the time you're doing. This is taking place around the year 3025, give or take a few years, and that thing is from 2765. So this AI apparently is looking for the same ship you are. Okay, we're gonna have their drones attack an armory and draw off some of the defenders while we go for the place where this captain is being held, so we can get
Command
this.
interface initiated.
And this one had a weight limit. It could only carry medium mechs, so for the first time I am running my custom hatchet man. Still need to come up with a name for it. Not quite sure what I want to call it, but we'll get there.
Who fights over a place like this?
Move order received.
This mission runs a little bit odd because running the medium mechs and the first time running this hatchet man, so not really sure how it's going to go. I go different from my usual approach and have to try to get in close fast rather than pick apart from a distance. Because they do have one or two heavy mechs, and I don't have anything above, I think, 55 tons, so... I think my hardest hitter is a Wolverine.
Got it.
Moving out.
Oh, I do have a trebuchet, okay. I do have some indirect fire.
Good to go. Heading
So
out.
move the trebuchet up. I have a Vindicator, a Commando, and a Rifleman visible right now. I don't know.
I've been sensor locked.
My hatchet man, the only weapons it's got are 4 flamers, and I also have a full complement of jump jets on it. I've also, they don't show up on the weapons loadout, but I have added a few modifications to make it a little bit more dangerous,
go.
let's just say, in melee close-in combat.
Moving out.
Because that's what this thing's optimized for,
Firing.
so I further optimized it.
What's up, boss?
This thing is even more of a one-off prototype type setup than
Here it
it
comes.
was originally intended to be. So this is not something that would have been mass-produced, and probably not something you'd ever see a house military running into battle. But for a mercenary unit out on the periphery running it once in a while when the situation calls for it.
Aye, aye. Acknowledged. All weapons at 5.
Indicator. And I think that rifleman is the next target.
Got past his armor.
Got to take out the medium and heavy. Then after that, those 2 light mechs are non-entities, basically. Can't exactly afford to ignore light mechs, but once you get them isolated, you've really got to be unlucky or really incompetent to have to worry too much about light mechs after they don't have any support from anything heavier. They move fast, they usually have next to no armor or weapons, so... I was hoping that would shut him down.
Warning. Enemy in rear arc.
Yes, Commander. Targeting towards Alpha. Take that.
I was gonna say that should have killed him, but at least it knocked him over.
Ready for orders. All weapons are go.
There he goes.
That's a kill.
Now we've got 1 heavy and 2 lights to worry about. And the heavy's trying to make a run for it.
Engaging physical attack.
That's more like what the hatchet is supposed to do. 1 swing, light mech destroyed.
Enemy mech destroyed.
So there's half the land's taken out
Enemy
already.
in rear arc.
Yeah, I'm not worried about him being in the
Warning.
rear arc.
Armor low.
Receiving you.
I know what this thing's going to be getting into, so I armored it and equipped it appropriately. Ammo
I think I hit
explosion.
something good.
Yeah, you did.
Receiving you. All weapons are go.
There you go. He's down. All that's left is that rifleman that's
Enemy
trying to
down.
run away.
Waiting for orders. Targeting for an alpha strike.
I don't know where it thinks it's going. It doesn't have any indirect fire weapons, and it's got nothing to spot if it did.
Full throttle.
Standing by. Good to go. Orders?
Waiting for orders. Double time. Let's go.
Engaging physical attack.
Torso and arm, so he's half disarmed already. And his heat level is back up.
Yes, Commander. Moving out. Receiving you. Got it. Locked on for physical attack.
Commander. Roger that.
Okay, he's pretty much done.
Engaging
Yeah,
physical
you're
attack.
screwed. Boom. God, I love my hatchet, man. Alright, now we just gotta capture that point, and this will be done.
Timer fuel depleted.
And then it will get into where I have something to say about this setup. Yep, I've already killed your mercenaries, dude.
On my way.
Not a timely threat.
Copy that.
The asset has been secured and is ready for retrieval.
Okay, we've recovered the guy, so we finished this part of it. Okay, this is where it starts to get into window licking territory, at least as far as overarching plot goes. Still fun, still a great campaign, but an overarching plot, it makes no damn sense, and I will explain why when it gets there. Okay, there it is. This thing is an artifact of the Kerensky Exodus, which that is the huge backstory part of BattleTech. That is where everything that leads to the modern, that is the very end of the Ameris Civil War, the fall of Star League and all that. It's what leads to the clans, it's what leads to the succession wars, everything else. That's what they're talking about here is, you know, oh my god, what could this mean? However, where we are outside the inner sphere in the periphery is so far away from where the exodus occurred, where they exited, and the direction they headed, that there is literally no way in the 300 intervening years that that ship could have drifted anywhere near this far. Like, it would have to be drifting at the speed of light to even come close to getting that far. I will put up a map at the end of this, because I'm probably still going to be talking here. Yeah, this is just about done. I will put up a map that shows what I'm talking about. When the Kerensky force left the inner sphere with, the majority of the Star League defense forces and the Navy and everything else, the last they were seen in the inner sphere was over the world of New Samarkand. In the inner sphere was over the world of New Samarkand, which is in the Draconis Combine, which I will highlight on the map I'm going to be putting up here. Not only the Draconis Combine, but also where New Samarkand is. They then went out into the periphery, and from the perspective of how you generally look at the map, they went up north, however you want to call it, coreward, away from the inner sphere, further and further and further into the periphery. We are all the way down at the very bottom of that map on the far side of the Federated Suns and the Taurian Concordat, down there in the other end of the periphery. That ship would have to have somehow drifted in a circular route all the way around the periphery over 300 years to get to that point. What? Unless, because it's the Draconis Combine, it was found in that section of space, which would make sense that was where it was originally found, and now it has somehow found its way down here, and that's why people are trying to track it. But as they also say, this thing has its hull almost completely destroyed in a mist jump, and is only technically jump capable, but it cannot right now, maybe more than once, because the hull is all but destroyed. So how the hell, if it was found up where the Exodus left, did they get it to where it is now? It's not like they jumped it down there and took everything from it. This is not Star Wars. It's not like they put it on a tractor beam, pulled it into a bigger ship, and then, hyperspaced it to where it is now. Warp faster than light travel does not work like that in the BattleTech universe. There is no such thing as a tractor beam. There is no such thing as, pulling a jump ship into a larger jump ship and taking it somewhere else. No, it does not happen. The technology does not exist. So there is literally within the canon, the set technology, science, lore, story background of this universe, there is literally no way, zero, none, nada, that ship would be where it is now. And it only gets worse from there because they then try to tie it into other things that are going on in the Battletech universe at this time, which, yes, if this thing did exist and this story was real, yes, these other things would get involved with it, but it's all predicated on something that makes no sense in universe. So, we will continue on with this. We will get into it because it is a great story. It gets you into some awesome in-universe stuff that you get to deal with. But the entire thing is based on something that within all set parameters of the universe does not exist, could not exist, would not exist, cannot exist. So, anyway, going forward, there we are. That's the end of this one. Sorry to sound like I'm ranting, but right from the first time I played this, when these became available, I was sitting here scratching my head going, wait, what? There's no freaking way. Am I remembering wrong? So I went and did a little bit of research and looking to see if maybe I just didn't remember correctly my lore, and no. In lore, this does not work, makes no sense, could never happen, but yet here we are, finishing the first chapter of what I believe is a 4 or 5 chapter story here. So, yeah. It's not going to get worse. It's not like it just gets dumber and dumber as it goes. It's just the entire thing is based on something. No. No, just no. Okay. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Thank you for watching. Sorry to make it sound like I'm ranting and dorking out at the end here, but I hate it when a story shits on everything that's come before it to try to make it work within the game when it does not work within the lore they're trying to set it in. I hate it. It drives me nuts. You can make a wonderful story with what you already have. You don't need to take a giant steaming shit on it. Anyway, have a good one. Give me a like and subscribe, please, if you get the chance. Couple of days, the next one of these will be coming out. It will not be the next chapter of this. It will, however, be one getting into something which, if you're familiar with the BattleTech universe of this time period, and you haven't played this game, will also be one that you go, wait, what? But it is much less head-scratchingly stupid. It is very cool and gives you in with a very interesting character from the BattleTech lore and fluff. So there you go. End of this one. A little bit of teaser for the next one. We will see you in the next one going forward. Have a good one. Thanks for watching, and we will see you later.